In the quiet sanctity of a moment, as the match strikes and the wick catches fire, something profound occurs beyond what our physical eyes can perceive. This is not merely a chemical reaction of combustion. It is the birth of a sacred bridge between realms, between souls, between hearts that may be separated by distance, but never truly apart in the fabric of consciousness. When you light a candle with focused intention while holding someone in your thoughts, you're engaging in one of the most ancient and powerful spiritual practices known to humanity. The flame that dances before your eyes becomes more than light. It transforms into a conduit, a vessel through which your energy, thoughts, and love can travel across the invisible networks that connect all beings. This transformation occurs at the energetic level, where the physical world meets the subtle realms. The flame itself exists in a unique state, neither fully matter nor fully energy, but a doorway between dimensions. This liminal quality makes fire special among the elements, capable of carrying our intentions into the ethereal world where soul connects with soul. Consider what happens in this sacred moment. As you focus your mind on a loved one, your brain emits specific electromagnetic patterns, creating thought forms that carry your emotional signature. Simultaneously, the candle flame produces both light and heat energy, along with subtle emissions that science is only beginning to understand. These energies intertwine, creating what mystics have long called a vibrational corridor, a direct line of communication between your consciousness and the energy field of the person you're thinking about. This process was described by the renowned intuitive Edgar as a focusing of soul energies, explaining that fire itself acts as an amplifier of thought. When properly directed, these amplified thoughts can indeed reach across any distance, because in the realm of spirit and consciousness, space as we understand it does not exist in the same way. What makes this practice particularly powerful is the symbolism embedded within it. Fire has represented transformation and purification across countless spiritual traditions. When we light a flame while thinking of another, we are engaging with a symbolic language that our deeper consciousness understands intrinsically. The upward movement of the flame represents our intentions rising toward the divine, while the light represents illumination, bringing clarity, healing, and love into what might otherwise be darkness. During this sacred moment, something remarkable occurs in the auric field, the energy body that surrounds and interpenetrates the physical form. As you focus on your loved one while gazing at the flame, your auric field extends outward, creating what spiritual scientists call a resonant field. This resonant field seeks harmony with the unique energetic signature of the person you're thinking about, establishing a subtle but real connection. The flame itself assists in this process through its inherent properties. Fire consumes and transforms, taking one form of matter and converting it into light and heat. Similarly, when we use the flame as a focal point, it helps transform our sometimes scattered thoughts into pure intention. This purification process is essential for creating a clear channel of communication between souls. What many don't realize is that this practice works regardless of whether the other person is consciously aware of it. The higher self, that aspect of us connected to universal consciousness, is always receptive to loving energy sent its way. Your candle-focused thoughts reach not just the everyday awareness of your loved one, but touch their deeper being, their soul essence. The moment of lighting itself is particularly potent. In that initial spark, there exists a microsecond of pure potential, a blank canvas upon which your intention can be most clearly written. This is why many spiritual practitioners pay special attention to their state of mind at the precise moment of lighting. The clarity of purpose in that instant sets the energetic tone for the entire practice. As the flame stabilizes and begins its steady dance, it creates a rhythmic pattern that helps synchronize your brainwaves into more coherent patterns. This neurological coherence further enhances your ability to project clear, focused thought. Many who practice this technique report feeling a distinct shift in their consciousness, a settling, a centering, as they continue to hold their loved one in mind while watching the flame. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity, yet profound effect. You need no special training or elaborate ritual tools, just a candle, a moment of stillness, and the natural human capacity for love and focused thought. Yet in this simple act, you participate in one of the most fundamental spiritual technologies, the conscious direction of energy through loving intention. When you light a candle and direct loving thoughts towards someone, you initiate a subtle yet profound energetic exchange that transcends the limitations of physical space. This silent intention, carried on the wings of focused thought and amplified by the sacred flame, creates ripples in the universal consciousness that can reach across any distance. The power in this practice lies not in the words spoken or rituals performed, but in the quality and purity of the intention itself. What exactly happens in this mystical moment? As you center your awareness on a person while gazing at the flame, your mind enters a unique state of receptivity and projection simultaneously. This dual nature state allows you to both send and receive energy, creating what spiritual teachers call a resonant field of loving awareness. Within this field, the barriers between separate consciousnesses become more permeable, more fluid. The flame itself serves as an alchemical tool in this process. Fire has long been recognized across spiritual traditions as a transformer, capable of changing one form of energy into another. When you introduce the element of loving intention into this transformative medium, you create a spiritual catalyst that can transmute ordinary thought into pure heart energy. This refined energy carries a significantly higher vibrational frequency than casual or unfocused thinking. Love itself, from a spiritual perspective, is not merely an emotion, but a fundamental force in the universe, perhaps the most powerful force available to human consciousness. When you deliberately direct loving thoughts toward another while using the candle flame as a focal point and amplifier, you're working with this universal force in its most essential form. The resulting energy carries specific qualities that make it uniquely capable of reaching its intended recipient. Unlike ordinary thoughts, which may dissipate quickly into the general thought atmosphere around us, love-infused intentions possess a remarkable coherence and stability. They maintain their integrity across the field of consciousness, much like how certain wavelengths of light can travel vast distances through space without significant degradation. This integrity allows your loving intention to reach the energy field of the other person with its essential qualities intact. When this loving energy reaches the auric field of the person you're thinking about, something remarkable occurs. Their energy body naturally resonates with and absorbs vibrations that match its needs and highest good. This is a fundamental law of spiritual physics. Like attracts like, and harmonious energies seek integration. Your loving thoughts, carried on the vehicle of focused intention and amplified by the flame, offer themselves as a gift that the recipient's energy system can freely accept or decline according to their soul's wisdom. Many spiritual teachers, including those from ancient mystical traditions, have described this process as creating a temporary etheric bridge between two souls. This bridge exists outside normal space-time constraints and allows for genuine communion between spirits, regardless of physical separation. The candle flame helps establish and maintain this bridge through its consistent vibrational output, creating a stable platform for your intentions to travel upon. What makes this practice particularly powerful is that it bypasses many of the obstacles that hinder conventional communication. Where words can be misinterpreted and actions misunderstood, pure loving intention carries its meaning intact, speaking directly to the higher consciousness of the recipient. This soul-to-soul communication exists beyond language, beyond cultural differences, and beyond personal history. It connects with the essential being of the other person. The etheric realm, where this exchange takes place, operates according to different laws than the physical world. In this subtle dimension, intention and attention are the primary creative forces. Whatever you give your focused attention to while in a state of love becomes energized, vitalized, and directed toward manifestation. The candle flame helps to stabilize this focus, preventing the natural tendency of the mind to wander and dilute the power of the intention. Interestingly, this practice also creates a return flow of energy. As you establish this connection through loving thought, you open yourself to receiving impressions, feelings, and intuitive knowledge about the person you're focusing on. Many practitioners report suddenly knowing what their loved one needs or feeling a sense of their current emotional state. This reciprocal exchange occurs naturally as part of the connected field of awareness you've established. The quality of your own energy state while performing this practice significantly impacts its effectiveness. If your thoughts are clouded by worry, fear, or attachment to specific outcomes, these lower vibrations can interfere with the purity of the love you're attempting to send. This is why many spiritual traditions emphasize entering a state of centeredness and peace before engaging in such practices. The candle's steady flame can assist in this preparation, helping to still the mind and open the heart. Time, too, behaves differently in the realm where this exchange takes place. Your loving intention doesn't always manifest immediately in the awareness of the other person. Sometimes the effects unfold gradually, influencing their dreams, intuitive insights, or subtle feelings that arise throughout their day. Other times, the person may experience an immediate sense of peace, comfort, or the distinct feeling of being thought of with love, what many describe as ears burning, or suddenly thinking of the sender. The power of this practice lies partly in its simplicity, yet profound effectiveness. You need not be a spiritual adept or trained energy worker to create this connection. The capacity to love and direct that love through focused intention is innate to all human beings. The candle simply serves as a tool to enhance this natural ability, helping to organize and direct energies that might otherwise remain diffuse and undefined. In a universe fundamentally interconnected at the quantum level, these acts of directed loving intention remind us of our true nature, beings of light communicating through the medium of consciousness itself. When you think of someone with love while gazing into a candle's flame, you're not creating a connection that didn't exist before. Rather, you're acknowledging, activating, and strengthening a connection that always exists beneath the illusion of separation. Throughout the ages, across diverse civilizations and spiritual traditions, fire has held a sacred place as the most divine of elemental messengers. This wasn't mere superstition or primitive thinking. It was profound spiritual wisdom based on direct experience with the subtle, energetic properties of flame. The ancient knowledge of using fire as a carrier of intentions and prayers represents one of humanity's oldest and most consistent spiritual technologies. In Egyptian mysticism, fire was revered as the living embodiment of the god Ra, whose light not only illuminated the physical world, but served as a bridge between earthly and divine realms. Egyptian priests would light sacred lamps in temples, believing that the flame created what they called a ka corridor, a direct energetic pathway through which human intentions could rise to the spiritual dimensions and divine messages could descend to human consciousness. These flames were never allowed to extinguish, maintaining an unbroken connection between worlds. The Hebrew traditions similarly recognized fire's transcendent qualities. The burning bush that spoke to Moses represented divine consciousness made manifest through flame. Later, in Kabbalistic practices, candles became essential tools for prayer and meditation, with specific teachings about how the dance of the flame could reveal the state of one's connection to loved ones, whether living or passed on. Kabbalists understood that fire exists simultaneously in multiple dimensions, partly in the physical world through its visible flame, partly in the ethereal world through its heat and energy, and partly in the spiritual realm through its light. Hindu traditions offer perhaps the most elaborate understanding of fire as a spiritual messenger. The sacred fire ritual called Agnihotra specifically uses flame as a purifier of atmosphere and carrier of mantras. According to Vedic knowledge, when specific intentions are offered to the flame during precise astronomical moments, those intentions are amplified and carried throughout the universal consciousness. The fire deity Agni was considered the divine messenger who could travel between worlds, carrying human prayers to the gods and bringing divine blessings back to humanity. What these ancient traditions understood, and what modern spiritual science is rediscovering, is that fire occupies a unique position among the elements. Unlike earth, water, or air, fire exists as a dynamic process rather than a fixed substance. This transitional, transformative nature gives it the ability to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making it the perfect courier between the seen and unseen worlds. The mystery schools of ancient Greece taught that fire contained what they called pneuma, the breath of life and consciousness itself. When a flame was lit with conscious intention, this pneuma would become impregnated with the thought forms and emotional energies of the practitioner. These energized thought forms could then travel along the rivers of light that the mystery schools believed connected all beings in the cosmos. Adepts were trained to visualize these connections strengthening as they focused on the flame. Native American traditions speak of fire as the great transformer, capable of transmuting ordinary consciousness into spiritual vision and carrying prayers to ancestors and spirit guides. Many tribes practiced fire-watching meditation, where gazing into flames while holding specific intentions was understood to open channels of communication with the spirit world. The smoke rising from sacred fires was seen as the physical manifestation of prayers ascending to the Great Spirit, carrying the essence of one's thoughts for loved ones across the boundaries between worlds. Celtic druids maintained sacred fires at specific power points in the landscape, understanding that these flames served as anchoring points for spiritual energies that could then be directed toward healing, blessing, or connecting with those at a distance. They developed elaborate fire scrying techniques, where the patterns in flames could reveal information about loved ones far away. This wasn't considered divination in the predictive sense, but rather a form of remote viewing through the medium of fire. In Tibetan Buddhist practices, butter lamps are lit with specific intentions, with the understanding that the quality of one's consciousness at the moment of lighting creates an energetic imprint that the flame will carry and amplify. Tibetan teachings explain that fire exists partially in the Bardo realms, the intermediate states between physical and non-physical existence, giving it unique access to dimensions where consciousness operates beyond physical limitations. The Zoroastrian tradition perhaps elevated fire to its highest spiritual position, maintaining eternal flames in temples as the primary symbol of divine presence. These sacred fires were understood to be living entities of consciousness, capable of purifying human intention and carrying it across the cosmic realms to reach other souls. The practice of focusing on a loved one while communing with the sacred fire was considered one of the most powerful forms of spiritual connection available. What unites these diverse traditions is the understanding that fire serves as both messenger and transformer. The flame receives your thoughts and intentions, purifies them through its transformative nature, and delivers them across the subtle pathways that connect all beings in the web of consciousness. This isn't metaphorical. It's a description of an actual spiritual mechanism that operates according to consistent principles across the subtle dimensions. Modern energy practitioners have noted that the electromagnetic properties of fire create what they call a coherence field that can organize and amplify human intention. The flame produces a stable pattern of energy that helps to structure the otherwise chaotic nature of human thought, creating more powerful, focused thought forms that can maintain their integrity across distance. This is why many contemporary spiritual teachers still recommend candle meditation as one of the most effective methods for sending healing and love to others. What's particularly remarkable about this ancient knowledge is its consistency across cultures that had no known contact with one another. From the Arctic Circle to the Australian outback, indigenous wisdom recognized fire's special role as consciousness carrier. This universal recognition suggests that the spiritual properties of flame aren't culturally constructed, but represent a discovered truth about the nature of reality, specifically about how consciousness can be transmitted across the field of universal awareness. The wisdom of these ancient traditions reminds us that when we light a candle while holding someone in our thoughts, we're not engaging in a modern New Age practice, but participating in one of humanity's oldest spiritual technologies. We're activating a method of soul-to-soul communication that has been tested and refined across millennia, across continents, and across countless cultural expressions of human spirituality. In this flame-focused connection, we rediscover what our ancestors never forgot, that love, intention, and consciousness can travel across any distance when carried on the wings of fire's transformative power. One of the most profound mysteries of candle-focused intention occurs when the recipient suddenly becomes aware of your thoughts, when they inexplicably think of you at the precise moment you light the candle and direct your loving attention toward them. This phenomenon, far from being coincidental, represents the manifestation of what spiritual teachers call soul resonance, a synchronistic connection that transcends conventional understanding of time, space, and consciousness. These experiences of sudden awareness, the feeling that someone is thinking of you, the unexpected memory of a person's face appearing in your mind, the inexplicable sense of their presence, represent moments when the veil between separate consciousnesses temporarily thins. These are not random events, but the natural result of intentional energy directed through the amplifying medium of sacred flame. What makes this connection possible lies in the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. At the deepest level, consciousness is not confined within the boundaries of individual minds, but exists as an interconnected field in which we all participate. Modern quantum physics has begun to recognize what spiritual traditions have taught for millennia, that consciousness is non-local, meaning it is not restricted to specific points in space-time, but exists in a state of fundamental connectedness across all apparent separation. When someone feels your candle-directed thoughts, they are experiencing what could be called an awakening of dormant connection. These connections always exist at the soul level, but often remain beneath the threshold of ordinary awareness. The focused intention combined with the transformative properties of flame raises these connections into conscious recognition, allowing them to be perceived by the recipient as intuitive knowing, emotional resonance, or even as clear inner visions. The experience usually manifests in one of several recognizable patterns. Some recipients report a sudden warming sensation in the heart or chest area, a literal feeling of being warmed by another's love. Others describe an unexpected emotional shift, a wave of peace, comfort, or joy that seems to arrive without external cause. Still others experience direct thought transference, suddenly thinking about the sender without logical reason. In each case, what's occurring is a momentary harmonization of two consciousness fields that allows direct soul-to-soul communication. What determines whether someone will consciously perceive your candle-focused intentions? Several factors influence this receptivity. First is the quality of pre-existing connection between you. Souls that share what mystical traditions call karmic bonds or soul contracts tend to be more naturally attuned to each other's energetic signatures. These may be family members, close friends, spiritual companions, or anyone with whom you share significant soul history across lifetimes. The recipient's current state of consciousness also plays a crucial role. When someone is in a quiet, meditative, or relaxed state, their awareness is naturally more receptive to subtle energetic impressions. Conversely, if they're deeply engaged in analytical thinking or stressful activities, these subtler impressions may go unnoticed in the moment, though they still register in the deeper consciousness. The timing of your practice can enhance this connection. Certain transitional periods of the day, dawn, dusk, and the quiet hours of deep night, are traditionally recognized as times when the boundaries between individual consciousness become more permeable. These natural gateways in the daily cycle facilitate easier transmission of thought and intention across the unified field of awareness. Perhaps most important is the purity and selflessness of your intention. When your candle practice is motivated by genuine love, rather than need or attachment, it creates what spiritual teachers call clear channel communication. This unobstructed energy moves more freely across the consciousness field and is more likely to be received intact by the intended recipient. The flame helps to purify your intention, burning away personal agenda and leaving only the essential love energy. Many spiritual traditions teach that these connections reveal the existence of what some call etheric cords, energetic filaments that connect souls across incarnations and experiences. These cords, invisible to ordinary sight but sometimes perceived by those with developed spiritual vision, serve as pre-existing pathways along which your candle-amplified intentions can travel. The flame helps to activate and strengthen these natural soul connections, making them more accessible to conscious awareness. When someone does perceive your loving thoughts, a fascinating reciprocal phenomenon often occurs. Their awareness of the connection creates what energy healers call a completed circuit, allowing energy to flow in both directions. This is why people engaged in this practice often report receiving intuitive impressions about the other person's state, needs, or feelings, information they couldn't have known through ordinary means. The connection, once established, becomes bidirectional, allowing for genuine communion of spirits. Particularly powerful are those profound moments when both people think of each other simultaneously, creating what mystical traditions call soul synchronicity. When this occurs, the energetic exchange is amplified exponentially, creating a harmonic resonance that both participants can feel as an unmistakable sense of connection. These moments often arrive as a sense of certainty that transcends doubt, an inner knowing that you are truly in communion with another soul across any physical distance. The flame serves a crucial function in this exchange by helping to stabilize what would otherwise be fleeting connections. Much like a radio tuned to a specific frequency can maintain a clear signal, the consistent vibrational quality of the candle flame helps maintain the energetic frequency needed for clear soul-to-soul communication. This is why traditional practices emphasize maintaining focus on the flame throughout the practice, rather than simply lighting it and turning attention elsewhere. The most compelling evidence for this invisible connection comes from countless experiences shared across cultures and times. Stories of mothers who suddenly knew their distant children needed them, of twins who felt each other's significant life events despite separation, of loved ones who appeared in dreams or visions at precise moments of transition or need. Modern research into consciousness suggests these aren't mere coincidences, but glimpses into the non-local nature of awareness that connects all beings. What we're discovering is that consciousness itself operates according to different laws than physical matter. While our bodies remain subject to the limitations of space and time, our consciousness exists in what some spiritual physicists call non-local awareness, a dimension where separation is an illusion and direct mind-to-mind, heart-to-heart communication is not only possible but natural. The candle flame helps to bridge our ordinary awareness with this deeper reality. This understanding was expressed beautifully in the teachings of Edgar, when he explained that thought is things, and that mind is the builder of all reality. His profound insight that thoughts directed with love actually create energetic structures in the subtle realms helps explain why candle-focused intention can be felt across any distance. These thought structures, amplified and purified by the transformative power of flame, become tangible impressions in the consciousness field we all share. The next time you light a candle while holding someone in your heart, remember that you are engaging not in symbolic ritual, but in actual spiritual communion. The connection you create operates through the medium of unified consciousness, traveling along pathways that exist beyond physical limitation. And when the person you're thinking of suddenly feels your presence, perhaps as a warm thought, a moment of comfort, or simply as the unexpected appearance of your face in their mind, know that you are experiencing one of life's most sacred mysteries, the reality that in consciousness, we are never truly separated from those we love. In the gentle light of a candle flame, we rediscover an eternal truth, that love itself is the ultimate connective force in the universe, capable of reaching across any distance when focused through the pure intention of an open heart. If these teachings have illuminated your spiritual path, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and share your experiences in the comments below. The flame of wisdom grows brighter when shared with others. Have you ever felt someone's presence while they were thinking of you? Has lighting a candle helped you connect with a loved one? Your story matters and may inspire someone else's spiritual journey. Subscribe now to continue exploring these ancient practices and hidden spiritual truths together. Remember, every candle lit with love creates a ripple in the universal consciousness.